Hi friends, I just wanted to explain a couple things that are common topics that come up around the clinic from our routine office visits that come every month. One of them is about eating on plan and eating off plan, and how many times an individual might eat off plan during the course of 1 month when we measure the previous month's body composition compared to when you come in for your next visit. A lot of people ask, how does that work with my metabolism slowing down or my weight loss slowing down? And there's a number of reasons why that may occur. Number one, remember that this is a principle. Every one of us are born with a certain number of fat cells. As we approach the limit of that particular fat cell, our body has no choice to create more fat cells if we continually keep our body in fat storage. And that's the typical American diet. Refined, processed, heavily processed foods will cause us to not break them down and digest them thoroughly. And the body many times has no choice but to store them as fat. So remember this, even though the analogy I use is like a sponge. So your fat has cells just like a sponge has cells. And on the program, you're trying to keep yourself from storing more and more fat and begin to burn it again like you did when you were younger. The idea is to set yourself up for that metabolically so that you don't keep repeating the same cycle. So if you do have a day or even one meal where you're eating off plan, it can throw you off from 1 to 3 days. So remember that if you do that 2 to 3 times a week, maybe just 2 to 3 meals out of 21, you can never get ahead sometimes. That's why it's crucial to follow the plan, follow the food guidelines, no matter the category, because there are plenty of choices within each of the 4 categories to have variety. So remember this. The principle is to keep yourself moving forward with fat burning. You've got to eat inside the guidelines as close to 100% as you can. So important. The other thing is you can lead a normal life. If you make this a lifestyle transformation rather than just a term diet, then you can make it so that your body doesn't re-enter fat storage. You can set yourself up for that sustainably. So remember, it's not about getting rid of the fat cells, it is emptying it, keeping them empty, and never refilling them based on your choices. So many times we feel like we're being withheld or kept from cultural, traditional foods that we've always been used to eating, but those are the ones that are most problematic, and they're the culprits that keep us returning to a state of fat storage. I gave an analogy to a lady this morning, and the analogy was, I said, think of it this way. If you don't feed your body enough, you'll keep it in a mode of crisis, which will self-sabotage your progress. So it's in essence essential to have the proper number of calories for what you have going on in your life at that time so that doesn't happen. And if you get enough protein, you get enough healthy and clean calories in, you can keep your body in fat burning, and you don't force yourself into a crisis state where your body reverts back into fat storage. So I told this lady, I said, think about it. If your husband said to you, came one day and said, honey, for the next 24 months, every single month of those 24 months, I'm going to be gone on a mission trip for 20 of those 30 days. And you're only going to get to see me 5 of those 30 days. I said, what would you do? How close would you keep yourself to him? So the analogy is, if you're only going to see a loved one for 5 days out of the month, you keep them pretty close to you. And your body does the same with calories. So if you don't get many calories, if you're starved of calories, just like that woman was starved of time with her spouse, your body keeps those calories close to you to protect you. It's a natural, innate protective mechanism. And that's what we're trying to release and set your body up for a higher metabolic state. So stay tuned for part 2. We're going to talk about how to keep it at that higher metabolic state. Talk to you soon.